Welcome back to another exciting episode of Meanwhile Back on the Podcast. I'm Frank McGuire.
I'm Christina Dudamos.
I'm Chris Abana.
I'm Jeff Mack.
Jeff's here because Saba is not joining us this evening. And Jeff is actually a good guy to have here because he knows gaming. And we're going to be talking about all the game announcements at DC Fandome, because this is that episode. The last episode, we were talking about the films. In this episode, we're going to cover the announcements. So we're going to be talking about all the announcements for Warner Brothers Animation, which is the DC Animated Universe. We're going to be talking about all the big game announcements. We're going to be talking about all the TV announcements that we got in this iteration of DC Fandome, which only pertains to The Flash and Titans. The next DC Fandome on September 12th, they're going to be talking about all the big HBO Max announcements and the other TV properties like Stargirl and the other Arrowverse shows. So we only got Flash and we only got Titans for this particular DC Fandome date. So here's a preview of what's to come in that episode.
If I'm being honest, I would have rather like the whole Task Force X thing where it's like the Suicide Squad are just straight up bad guys. I would have just rather them being straight up threatened by Amanda Waller to take out the Justice League and just have us play the bad guy. Like we've done it in games before. It's fine.
What about you, Christina?
Yeah, I think I would take Deadshot, Harley. I like King Shark. I like the idea of playing with King Shark in the game.
Yeah.
And I think if I got to pick someone from the new movie, I want to pick Nathan Fillion's character. I want to beat people with my arms. That's what it is.
Nice.
TDK.
I had a feeling you would go back to that.
Meanwhile, back on the podcast, four colossal nerds named Saba, Chris, Christina, and Frank have set out to take on a great darkness that has enveloped the world of fandom with their powers of common sense and the strength to take on even the most butthurt Twitter mobs and insufferable comment section trolls. They fight for truth, objectivity, and nuance in the conversation and debate over fictional made-up shit.
Okay, so to kick things off, I want to get into the gaming stuff because I think the gaming announcements were really awesome and super exciting. The Gotham Knights. Let's start with the Gotham Knights game because I think everybody's kind of chomping at the bit to talk about this particular game. Chris, I was kind of curious how Red Hood pumped you were going to be on this episode because we're getting a lot of Red Hood stuff.
My entire family's here. Like
Your
this
entire family.
This game was the one thing in this like entire fandom that I was the most excited about. Like this game is made for me, man. I don't know if you guys ever played the Arkham series. I'm sure Jeff has.
Of course,
but
yeah.
they're fantastic. I love them. Like even Origins, and I don't know. I think Origins had like some mixed reviews. I still love Origins, and it was like that thing where you play Batman a lot, and they give you some of the Robins to play with on like some of the side. Like it was, I think it was a different game mode, but not like we all really wanted like to play the Robins, the Bat family in the actual campaign, and now it's happening, and I'm so happy for this. Like I don't know, like this is my dream come true for gaming. What about you, Jeff?
Sweet.
Yeah, Chris, I'm actually pretty excited about this game as well. It's kind of awesome being able to play as the Bat family versus Batman for once, and you kind of get like almost the full lineup. Kind of wish it was Damian instead of Red Hood, but whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they could have easily had Red Hood and Damian too. Or you mean Red Robin?
Sorry, Red Robin. Yeah,
Yeah, Red
bad.
Robin. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking shit about Red Robin's costume. I like it, man. I don't know. It's very reminiscent of like Damian's current one too, with the like the weird skirt thing that he's got going on. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not digging that skirt thing, man. I just think it looks really weird, you know? I'm not saying I want him in elf booties and boy shorts,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I do.
Saying that. Of course you do, Jeff. But
It's kind of
I
reminiscent of like the Asian culture, because the Court of Owls, like the new one is very like Asian inspired, and it really reminds me of like samurai armor a little bit.
yeah, it's definitely got kind of that vibe to it, but it does look very like androgynous. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I'm not really feeling that for the Robin character. Like, I would rather see him take on the aesthetic of kind of like Brendan Thwaites, you know, like that Robin costume from like Titans.
Yeah.
Like, I like
Yeah,
that costume.
yeah.
That Robin costume was dope as shit. Like, that was really, really fucking
What do
cool
you guys
looking
think of
Robin costume?
What do you guys think of the current? What do you guys think of the Red Robin costume where like his cape just looks like wings? Like, it's that weird thing where it looks like feathers underneath his thing.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
Is that in the comic books?
Yeah, it's in the comic books. I think it was when he led the Teen Titans when Dick Grayson was off doing something else. I kind of thought they were gonna like. I kind of did want to see that in like some sort of media, instead of just like the like tucked away in the comic books. But like I do have to say with this game, like if you guys ever played the Arkham, I did come on very strong. But like the Arkham series for me, I think suffers kind of from like repetitiveness towards the end. Like I still enjoy the entire thing. Like I finished almost all of them, except for the first one, strangely enough. But like the Arkham game, like the gameplay for Arkham series, like gets a little repetitive. What do you think? Like this one's gonna like break through? I mean, I guess we didn't really get too much gameplay in the trailer, but do you think this one's gonna like improve on that front?
As long as I don't have to solve 100 fucking Riddler puzzles, that's all I care about. Seriously.
That sounds like a Zelda game, actually.
No, seriously. You know, I think Rocksteady got really lucky because they introduced these Riddler puzzles, I think, in the second iteration of the Arkham franchise, and fans really dug it.
Yep.
But let's say the fans really hated it. You know what I mean? What if they were like, you know, fucking sending like tweets to them saying, what the fuck is this? Why do I have to like solve these fucking stupid physical puzzles, these riddles to like get farther in the game? It's ridiculous. Like, why do I have to go through all this shit? You know, I like the days of video gaming where if I beat the boss, I win. That's it. Like, I don't mind puzzles here and there. I'll give you a great example, right? The Uncharted franchise. Those were fun puzzles. You know, they challenged you intellectually. They challenged your problem solving skills. They challenged, you know, but it wasn't like the Riddler puzzles where like literally for some of them you had to like fly around a square block of Gotham to see where all the little points were. You know what I mean? Like you know, the points where you could trigger this and set off that and fucking, you know, start the succession. You know, it was like that. It's like one of those devices where like you knock the ball into the thing and it just kind of like starts running and knocks everything. I can't remember what that thing's called, but anyways, Christina, we haven't heard your thoughts on this game yet.
I like the outfits and the costumes. It kind of looks tactical. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fighting in this kind of game. So,
yeah, for sure.
I think all comic book media is headed towards this tactical look.
Yeah.
Because Titans took a very tactical look with Robin, took a very tactical look with Hawk and Dove, took a very tactical look with the majority of the characters. The only one I'd say that wasn't wearing tactical armor was Donna Troy, and she's kind of like, she's a Themyscirian, she's an Amazon, so she's very hard to hurt, but apparently she can die by electrocution.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think Christian Bale started that. I think Christian Bale, like, I mean, the comics.
I think so too,
The
Chris.
comics were kind of like starting to go that way anyway, but I think Christian Bale, his Batman was the first one to do that, and then like it didn't really make any sense for all of the other superhero movies to not follow suit, pun intended. But
I definitely agree with that. You know what I was laughing at to myself the other day? I was thinking back to that scene when Bruce goes to Lucius and he's like, I'm gonna do some spelunking.
Yeah.
Right? And then he actually mentions like caves. And I was like, ooh, that's dangerously close to the truth. Like little Nolan kind of like fucking with us a little bit psychologically.
I think that was like I think that was Bruce Wayne kind of like respecting Lucius's like intelligence, right? Like because he's gonna fucking figure it out sooner or later. Like I'm just gonna
Totally.
like see if I can trust him. But also like it's funny you mentioned that. I was also like that made me also think of the moment where he told, I think it was Alfred or maybe Lucius, that like he wants to like be able to turn his head, which is like the first time a Batman has been able to turn his head in like movie history. So like I think that was the first graduation of yep, we're done doing ugly ass Batman suits that can't even turn their heads.
Right.
Which is why I think that Robert Pattinson's got that little collar around his thing now. That's why I think it's there. But anyways, go ahead, Christina.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 other things I like are that it's a co-op game. And also it kind of reminds me
I want to talk about
of 007 games that I used to play. So maybe on like
not
GameCube
like Gold
or something.
Not like GoldenEye though, right? Like it doesn't really.
No, like the later 007 games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know. See, I'm so old. I've never played any other 007 game.
There's a lot of
than
stealth
GoldenEye.
mode, and you get to ride vehicles and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
just the way you walk around and kind of like look for the villains to kind of shoot them.
Oh.
But I don't have a lot of experience playing more modern video games, so the last system I really gamed on was like a GameCube.
Yeah,
So
it's
Well-
good that you mentioned that, because like that's actually one of the things I'm really excited about is like traversing the world. Like in the other Arkhams, well, not the first one, but like the later Arkhams, like going around as Batman in like just flying around and stuff, I thought was really fun. And now that we get to see like the other, like all of the other, because I think they're gonna do variants on just mobility and just abilities in general with all of the characters, and I just want to like traverse the city as like Red Hood, and I know he's gonna do it differently than Nightwing and all that. So I'm kind of excited for that.
yeah, it doesn't seem like the typical button smasher kind of co-op format. So
No, it's definitely not a button smasher. And Christina, from your comments, I take it you haven't played the Arkham franchise at all.
no, I don't have a PlayStation. I do have a Switch, so I have played the button smasher type Marvel games on there. But
Right.
yeah.
But never the Batman Arkham series, eh?
No, I never played.
You're
that.
missing out, dude.
Yeah, they're really good
Honestly,
I know. I just
it's
never had a
really good.
PlayStation.
You can get a
My
computer.
brother has one. I should probably borrow his PlayStation. I think he's
Arkham
probably
games
Yeah.
games are actually worth the investment in a PlayStation. Like they're
Right.
amazing. There's this like not only do you get to fight guys like head on like combat style, but you also get to use your
Gadgets.
detective skills
that
and your
too, yeah.
stealth skills
Yeah.
Yeah.
and all these little kind of like skill sets that Bruce Wayne or Batman has, and it's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the story's amazing.
Yeah, I actually want to I just want to talk about the story a little bit, because I think like
Sure.
it's pretty obvious that they're doing the new 52 Court of Owls, which is a series I love. And like if you guys remember, like the Court of Owls led up to the new version of Death in the Family, so like it's a very monumental like run in the DC universe. But like yeah, in the comics, like Bruce Wayne like gets kidnapped by the Court of Owls and tortured, and essentially everybody thinks he's dead, and then Alfred calls the entire Bat family, and like even Red Hood, which I love because he wasn't technically part of the Bat family now. Everybody just kind of like knows he's like this anti-hero villain-ish. So, but anyways, everybody gets a call, and it's like, yep, like the Dark Knight is dead. We all need to come back. All of the sons of the Dark Knight needs to come back to Gotham, and then they all have their individual stories. And I just love like getting all of the graphic novels and seeing all of these like independent stories all coming together in this huge war for Gotham. And to do that in game mode, it's like that's the main thing I'm really excited about for this game, is the story. Because like I said, like the
Pretty
gameplay,
cool, yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna feel like Arkham, which is like nothing new, but it's
Yep.
the story that I'm really excited for.
Pretty cool. So I want to start we're talking about story. So let's explore the story beat that they kind of jump like it's where the trailer really kind of jumps off. Bruce is announcing to the world that he's dead, and we see Anarchy. He's kind of watching this video on his phone, and then obviously it's Tim and Dick and Barbara and Jason getting the same announcement. But at the end of our last Arkham game, the way that they execute the explosion inside Wayne Manor is almost like it was planned. Like him and Alfred were like, because I think Alfred says something along the lines of like, is there any other way? And they're like, well, and Bruce says something along the lines of like, no, like this is the only way that we can protect them. Right. So I really think that Bruce is alive, and for some reason he's had to fake his death. I don't know what it's about. Maybe it is the Court of Owls. Maybe the Court of Owls are trying to recruit the younger members of the Bat family to turn them into Talons. I don't know, but it's an interesting story beat to kick off the actual narrative of this game, is that Batman is dead.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is he fakes the death and blows up the lair just because the court knows exactly where he is. So to avoid them snooping around, he blows up the
Right.
Batcave.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, I can't remember in the last Arkham game, the one where the Batmobile and Arkham Knight and all that, were there any references to the Court of Owls? Does anybody remember?
Not
Actually,
that I
you know,
remember.
now that you mention it, I didn't actually play the last one, which was Arkham Knight, right?
Arkham Knight,
Yeah,
yeah.
I stopped at Origins. Damn, I actually missed the
okay.
full game. I don't know. I don't actually know. But it's
Arkham Knight's good, but you drive the Batmobile a lot, dude.
yeah, I know.
Like
A
too
lot.
much.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I hear.
a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah.
But wait a minute, wasn't Arkham Knight Jason Todd the entire time?
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
even
so
though they
how
told
is
us
he
it was a
Red
new
Hood?
hero.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember that whole thing. I think that's why I didn't get it, because everybody was like, "Oh yeah, like the big mystery of who Arkham Knight was," and me and my friends, namely my friend Ryan, was like, "It's probably Jason Todd," and we're all just like, "Nah. They said it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a new guy. It's fucking Jason Todd." And then I found out,
Too
so I
funny.
didn't play the fucking game. But so how like as a sidebar, how is Jason Todd like Red Hood now if he's Arkham Knight in the last game? Does anyone know?
I don't know, bro.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. And honestly, it hasn't been confirmed that Jason Todd is the guy under the Red Hood mask in this game yet.
Interesting.
But they're saying this is not like a continuation or have anything to do with Arkham Knight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but then how do you start? But then how does the story? If that's the case, how does the story kick off from them watching that same video?
Well,
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it could
I
just
guess we have to
be-
wait and see on this one. But I know they've
Yeah.
officially said that it's not related.
Yeah. Well, the thing
Okay.
is, like, you could just have it start this way because Court of Owl. I mean, the Court of Owls didn't start this way, but like, you
Yeah.
could just take the story from the Court of Owls and just have
Yeah.
a similar ending from, a coincidence ending from Arkham Knight, right?
Sure.
who knows?
So what was everybody's takeaways from the actual gameplay video that we all got to look at?
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, the whole fact that we can like co-op now and like do combo moves together while playing the game, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. See, because like the one thing I don't like about story modes is I got to sit there by myself, and it's not that it's it's that's kind of video gaming 101, but I think it's really cool that there's this added dimension to the story mode for you where you can play along with a buddy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, go through the levels together and, use combat combos and all that kind of shit. So I think that's really dope.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you can do that in the Avengers game too. I think that's something that's going to become pretty ubiquitous across video games like this.
Yeah.
Anything with like a genre kind of focus to it. So
Yeah, it's actually awesome because me and my four best friends, my four brothers, we each have like our favorite Robins, and we're definitely gonna go play this on the couch as like our favorite Robin, even though Damian Wayne's not there. Sorry, buddy, you don't get your Robin. But like, I'm really excited to just sit down and play these guys. And like, what I'm really excited about is how like it doesn't feel like they're all kind of the same character.
Yeah.
And like and I know this for a fact because the Arkham Origins, when you got to play as Red Hood and Nightwing on in the other game mode, the side game mode, they didn't feel like Batman. They actually felt like new characters. Like they actually felt like they're actual characters, which is a pitfall that many games fall into. I'm just really excited to like actually step into the shoes, in the combat boots of these Robins, and have them all feel different from each other. So it's gonna like extend the playtime of this game for me.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool for sure.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about the way that they do the individual character development as the downloadable content for the Arkham series in the past. And Christina, you may like this. You actually can download Harley Quinn to do a mission with her. Like she's got this like little side story kind of thing
Oh, that's awesome.
that she does for Arkham Knight, I believe. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to see what kind of downloadable content they come up with for this game. Maybe we get like Black Lightning, maybe we get Spoiler, maybe we get Signal, maybe we get Orphan. There's
Black Bat, Misfit, yeah, Huntress.
Yeah,
Oh my God, please have Huntress. That'd be so
yeah, that
dope.
could be cool. That could definitely be cool. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Christina, what was your take on the gameplay video? Does it look like something you'd want to try out?
Yeah, I like the stealth mode and the shooting parts of the game look cool, but the vehicle stuff kind of looked awkward and clunky. I know it's probably because we're watching a very early release, so I'm hoping
Yeah.
they clean that up a bit.
You're
But
talking
yeah,
about
it's
No,
definitely
you're talking about the
some-
bat bike.
It's gonna
You're talking
stay.
about the
It's
bat
gonna
yeah,
bike?
stay
the bat
clunky.
bike.
I don't think so. They
Yeah,
said
that
it's
looked
out,
that
though.
looked weird. It looked like something old. It didn't look like a new game. I don't know.
Huh.
But like I
But-
don't I don't think the vehicles are gonna be good. I think the vehicles are gonna be like us wanting, I don't know, like judging from Arkham Knight and what I saw from it. I feel like the rest like we're just gonna like bide our time, do the vehicle missions, and then just wait until we can fly around Gotham again and not.
know what-
not
It
have
looked
to
like
be
there
in
was
the-
a lot of vehicle gaming too. It seemed to take up a lot of
I hope
the
not.
walkthrough.
I fucking hope not.
Well, me and Jeff will
yeah.
tell you in Arkham Knight, the last Batman game, it's literally you're like the Batmobile is a character in the game.
Yeah,
like,
it's a playable
like-
character.
yeah, it's a playable character. Like you're actually doing boss battles in the Batmobile,
Mhm.
which is kind of great. Which is kind of cool, but also kind of frustrating at times. Like when Deathstroke is chasing you in a vehicle, you just want to get out and fight him.
Yeah.
You don't want to really drive around and use your missiles and shit. Like it's kind of silly. But
Like,
anyways,
yeah, it was good in the beginning, but then it kind of got repetitive and annoying.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would
It's
say
actually I would consider buying a PlayStation just to play games like this.
Mm.
I haven't seen a lot of what PlayStation has to offer, but yeah, this looks fun. I
Yeah,
would
no,
play something like
PlayStation's
this.
good, man. It definitely delivers on the catalog. They have a lot of good games. Okay, cool. Well, from the world of video game Gotham, let's go to television Gotham because that is the next stop for the Titans cast. Apparently, the new Titans season 3 is going to be moving to Gotham, and one of the interesting info drops was Blackfire is going to be living in the Wayne Mansion. What? I don't know. That's fucking weird as shit. Like, why is Blackfire living in the Wayne Mansion? And isn't Blackfire the big bad for this season? And isn't Blackfire and Starfire basically like, in contention with each other? Like, aren't they, aren't they opponents?
Well,
So
a lot of the time,
what the fuck is she doing in Wayne Manor? It's
Yeah.
weird.
Well, a lot of the time, Blackfire, when she gets introduced, she's actually introduced as a good guy, and because of Corey's kind of trust for her and hope for her, she kind of just like she kind of just like advocates for her. Well, I mean, I don't know. It feels like a bad guy being in the Wayne Manor might be something within the story. Like she took over. Maybe she like fucked up the entire Wayne family. Who knows?
Maybe, but it's odd. Maybe that is the case. Maybe because like obviously the Titans are still in San Francisco at this point, right? So, at Titans Tower. So maybe something does happen to the Wayne family and that's why they do head to Gotham City. But apparently the other big bad that's going to be introduced is going to be Scarecrow, and we're going to see Jason Todd take on the form of Red Hood. That's confirmed.
Yeah.
Kern Walters said during the panel that he is going to become Red Hood. So it's
Yeah.
going to be
We all-
interesting.
We
I
all
think.
saw it coming, but we're all excited anyways. As soon as they
also,
introduced
Barbara
Jason.
Gordon is commissioner.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Barbara
right.
Gordon is going to be commissioner. Yes, I forgot about that part too.
Mhm.
So the thing with Jason Todd with me, like my hang up right now, the thing that I'm having in trouble kind of reconciling is that what happened to Jason Todd in season 2, I don't think was enough to transform him into the character that I know as Red Hood. Like, sure, Deathstroke almost killed him. Sure, he almost fell off a building. Sure, he, his relationship with Rose Wilson, fell apart. And, there's this like little end scene at the end of the season where he rides up on his motorcycle and gives everybody kind of a dirty look. But I don't really think that justifies the transformation into Red Hood yet. I think it's completely just fan service at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't
hopefully, presumably they have like, I don't know, half a season to develop that more, and like, yeah, like I agree, like it would have to be something really traumatic, and like, I mean, I would argue that without his death and rebirth, you really don't get a proper origin story for Red Hood. So does that
I agree.
does that like bring into question whether or not Ra's al Ghul is gonna come? You know what I
See,
mean?
that's the thing. There
would
has
be
been no
cool.
talks about Ra's
I
al
would
Ghul
love
yet.
that.
There's been no talk about Ra's
Yeah,
al
but
Ghul.
the
So
show, maybe they have plans to continue the show on for a few
Yeah.
more seasons. So
Yeah.
there's always.
Or we,
they
yeah,
they
so-
definitely do. They're moving
Yeah.
it to HBO Max, so that's definitely
Like this
happening.
could definitely be like one of those tight-lipped situations where like Ra's al like they'll give you a bunch of people that's gonna show up, and then Ra's al Ghul's the one that they hold back. Or even more interestingly, maybe he just dies and comes back, and then you never find out why until the next season when Ra's al Ghul does it in the shadows behind the scenes, you know.
Yep.
And then it's just like, oh, how is he back? I mean, the fans know how he's back, but like, you know, like it's still perfectly fine
Like,
storytelling, even
season
though the
ending,
fans know-
like,
exactly, yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this season though. Like I'm a big fan of Titans. I wasn't a huge fan of season 2, to be honest. I kind of felt like the whole Deathstroke Jericho story really made no fucking sense at all. And the way that they killed Trigon in the first episode, or defeated Trigon in the first episode, was stupid and just I
Yeah.
don't know, a waste of a character.
A waste of a really good character. That should have been an entire season.
Yeah, I wanted to see Rachel go like heads up with her dad. That's what I wanted to see. But you know, it is what it is. Scarecrow could be interesting in the context of the Titans verse. I can't remember what Earth number it is,
I don't
but
remember either.
yeah,
Frank,
I have a
do you-
hard time getting into this one too. It feels a bit slow for me, and I don't know. It's a slower, darker vibe than how I watched it on the TV show. I like the TV
Yeah.
show a bit better, or sorry, the cartoon TV show a bit
Yeah.
better. So I don't know. I have a hard time getting into the
no,
live
it's still a
action
great
one.
show. It has its moments.
It does.
Like it really does.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't completely dislike it. It's just harder for me to
Yeah.
feel like watching an episode. So I've gotten through season 1 and part of season 2, but I just haven't made it to
Yeah.
the end of season 2 yet because it's one of those shows I kind of just put down sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Sorry.
Well, we're
Anyways.
talking
well-
about season 3, right? So
Right, but I definitely dropped some spoilers for season
Oh,
2.
I see.
So
Well,
yeah.
as far as my opinions of the show, I mean, we did an episode on the Teen Titans season 1, and that unfortunately didn't make it past the cutting room. I had major writing issues with the Titans, only because I hold it in such a high like level of
and it should
critique.
be.
And it's
And
just
it
like
should be.
really had like abysmal writing at times. But what it did right, I thought like I really liked it. Like I don't want to get into it because we'll spend the entire episode talking about it. But there was just some like maybe we'll do a follow-up recap of or like a review on the show. But I think like the darker tone I liked. Some character changes I like, some characters changes where I think like completely useless and stupid, and some like climaxes were like really underwhelming. But
The tonality was fantastic.
Yeah, tonality
you
was
can't
good.
argue with the tonality. It was
so and
it
some
was
character
awesome.
some character work were like spot on, and others and
Yeah.
even then like you have some characters that weren't done right, and then the characters that were done right, whenever they interact with that other character, they get fucked over too. Anyways, I don't want to get into it.
yeah, I feel that way too. Just some of the characters just don't have the same vibe that I feel like they should have. But yeah.
Yeah, I like Raven and Robin.
Yeah, I do.
Tho-
I do
those are
like
the-
Raven.
Those are the two.
I like Raven a lot. so.
Which Robin?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Red Hood, So Red Hood, I liked his character in a vacuum. But because I know what Red Hood's supposed to be, I don't like it in comparison to Red Hood. But in the show, in a vacuum, I like the way they wrote his character for sure. That fight scene with the cops, I like. There's no motivation for that fight scene. That just happened just to show us how he feels about the cops. Like that sort of
Yeah, that was
stuff
fucked
happens.
up, dude.
So
That was fucked
like
up.
like that kind of stuff like still gets to me.
Yeah.
But like in a vacuum, I like Jason Todd's
Yeah, I do
character.
feel like the characters' motivations to do certain things are not always well
Yeah,
developed.
yeah.
It feels like sometimes they
Yeah.
just make someone do something just to push someone else's story forward. But yeah.
Exactly.
That's so true. That's exactly why it was done, because they needed to push Dick Grayson.
Yeah, which is
forward.
annoying. It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah. And it's like
yeah, because
like,
that whole scene was totally contrived. Like
Yeah.
he's literally like he almost comes across as a complete psychopath.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a sociopath, right? It's almost like Batman put the Robin mask on the wrong guy.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like you almost question his decision right away. As soon as you meet Jason Todd, you're like 30 minutes in, you're like, who the fuck made this guy
Yeah,
Robin?
they were overselling everything they did. They were overselling it, right? Like
Yeah.
like just like I love how every character is so gung ho about taking out the bad guy, and then when they think someone is a bad guy, but the audience knows is a good guy, it's like the what is it, the Outsiders or something? Well, who are they again? Like the
Who?
Is it not the Outsiders? The your dudes over there with the
Doom
invisible
Patrol?
guy. Doom Patrol, right. So
Right.
like when they met the Doom Patrol, we all kind of knew they were good guys, but then when they met up with them, they were all hostile to each other, but they didn't kill each other just because like we know that there's gonna be a spin-off of Doom Patrol. It's like the character motivations are so weird to me because Starfire in every other situation would have burned the shit out of Doom Patrol in that moment, but she didn't because we all know that they're all good guys. It's just weird.
That was probably my favorite episode so far. I like the episode where they met the Doom Patrol. I like the Doom Patrol characters. They're just so interesting. So I haven't watched that show
wait,
yet.
can we take a pot? Sorry, let's come back to that thought because wait a second. I thought only Raven and Gar knew the Doom Patrol.
Yeah, exactly. So Raven and Gar knew the Doom Patrol, and then they took them there, and but
right.
Starfire thought that they were being kidnapped, and then they all
Right.
met up in the hallway, and they didn't kill each other for no
Right.
reason, just because
Yeah.
they're both good guys.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but Christina makes an excellent point about using other characters to push other characters farther down the development chain. And honestly, I can almost see it. Like I can almost see their whiteboard in the writer's room, and it says, okay, Jason Todd has to be the biggest dick fucking possible. So Dick Grayson feels the need or feels the is compelled
Yeah, exactly.
to step in and guide Jason back to like some kind of equilibrium between the light and the darkness.
I actually kind of didn't hate Jason Todd's introduction. I thought it was kind of funny, but yeah.
No, it was funny. Like when he shows up out of nowhere and he starts
He's
breaking
this like
Dick's
bratty
balls.
kid.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
And it
that was
seemed
funny.
modern. It seemed like a current day bratty kid. So
Well,
yeah.
I thought it was a good echo for the way that Jason Todd actually really did enter
Used
the
to
DC
be, yeah,
universe.
yeah.
Batman finds him peeling the like stripping the wheels off of the Batmobile.
And he was arrogant, right?
Right?
Like this is the new version of the arrogant original Robin, Jason Todd. That I agree with.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's go to animation here because there's some really cool news about some of the animated projects that are coming down the pike. So the first one, well, I don't know. It's not really news because it's already out, but they basically previewed Superman Man of Tomorrow during DC Fandome through IGN. Like IGN had their own little private showing of it somewhere because it didn't happen in the DC Fandome. What do you call it? Hall of Heroes. Like that's not where, because everybody thought it was going to happen in the Hall of Heroes, but it didn't. So there's this new Superman story with Martian Manhunter, Lobo, and Parasite. And it's this new animation style that they did that looks fucking amazing.
I was gonna say, yeah, the animation style looks really good.
Yeah,
Brand new.
and they got Alexandra Daddario to actually take on the role of Lois Lane. Darren Criss is playing Superman. Brett Dalton from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is playing Parasite. And taking on the role of the Martian Manhunter is Ike Amati. And taking on the role of Lobo is Ryan Hurst, Opie from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, he's dope.
And Beta from Walking Dead. So that's a pretty big name along with Alexandra Daddario to have in a DC animated universe film. But then again, Michael Chiklis just voiced Deathstroke in Knights and Dragons. So that's also pretty big. So the DC animated universe seems to have a lot of appeal to some fairly big stars these days, which is really, really cool. And then back to Man of Tomorrow, Zachary Quinto is apparently taking on the role of Lex Luthor. So I'm excited to see this film. I don't know about you guys, but like I really like the Superman animated stories. One of my favorites of all time is Superman versus the Elite. I love that movie.
But yeah, I like some of the Superman movies.
It's been a while since I've seen Superman the Elite, but from what I remember, it was pretty enjoyable.
It's awesome, dude. And
Just
it's
seeing-
based on
yeah.
It's based on that story. What's wrong with truth, justice, and the American way? And it's just so good, dude. Like you see Superman at his like psychological peak, and his physical, like you just see him at the best that he has to offer. You see him dig into a side of him that you don't get to see a lot of the time, which is really exciting. So I really like that story a lot. And another announcement for our DC animated universe, we're getting The Long Halloween in a 2-parter.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
Amazing.
My hope is that the animation complements the comic. It's in line with the art style of the comic book. That's what I want. Because that art style in the comic book is fucking amazing, dude. It's so cool. It's so cool. So I'm really hoping that they'll do something along those lines. Now, the most recent Batman casting in the animated universe was not Kevin Conroy. So I'm hoping they're bringing back Kevin Conroy for this, because I want Kevin Conroy or Jason O'Mara. I like Jason O'Mara too, but I like Kevin Conroy. I want Kevin Conroy back. So, but Jason O'Mara's done a good job too. I really like Jason O'Mara a lot. With The Long Halloween, you get almost Batman's entire rogues gallery, almost everybody. You get the Penguin, you get the Riddler, you get the Joker, you get Poison Ivy. I think Calendar Man is in there. Professor Pig is in there. You get this cadre of Batman villains, and it's this and Catwoman, yes, and it's this amazing detective story, which is so awesome, because I'm glad we're finally getting detective stories from Batman, because that's the Batman I like to see. As I like to see, like, if you're a fan of Sherlock or Sherlock Holmes, or you grew up on those stories. Good detective stories are awesome. Mm-hmm. And I think, I think the success of Knives Out is definitely having people pay more attention to the appeal of a detective story, a whodunit. We're also seeing a lot of Agatha Christie books being turned into films.
Yeah.
Right? There was Murder on the Orient Express, and now they're going to do Death on the River Nile. So,
and there's been a lot of Sherlock Holmes TV shows too, and a few of them were pretty successful. So
yeah, no, for sure. Has everybody read The Long Halloween?
I did a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I read it for sure.
Yeah. What did you like about The Long Halloween?
Honestly, like, you mentioned the art style. I so love the art style in this, and like, yeah, I mean, okay, so I've said a lot that I don't. I'd like the other. Yeah, I have said in the podcast before, actually, the most recent episode, that I'm more of a fan of Batman's kind of like walk on morality lane more than I do the detective comics, like the detective Batman. But I mean, that's how he started, right? Like he's like original Batman was like the world's greatest detective, and yeah, like that's his roots, and that's, I really did enjoy the whole mystery of it. It kept me guessing the whole time. Yeah, and I love seeing when like the entire rogues gallery is just there in full force, and just seeing all these characters, because I love villains more than I love heroes, and seeing them all interact with each other, I think was like really cool.
Yeah, but you talk about the way that kind of Batman walks the moral tightrope, right? Mm-hmm. Which is always exciting and interesting. But I think even in these stories, you can there is opportunity to see him balance those two sides of himself as well.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think a serial killer mystery is always a good one. That's always fun. And I think the pacing of the comic was really good. So I think it's good that they split it into 2 movies. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, the pacing was really good. And, Two-Face plays a very unique role in this story, too, which will be interesting, because we'll see another, it'll be another Harvey Dent. It won't be just Two-Face, it'll be Harvey Dent. So I think that'll be exciting.
But it's like an origin for Two-Face.
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, so I'm really excited to see this one play out for sure.
What did you think of the comics, Jeff?
Honestly, besides like some of like the panels that I can sort of remember, I don't remember much of it.
It was slow. Like, it was a slow burn story.
Yeah.
Sometimes you definitely wanted to like skip ahead just to see who the murderer was.
Yeah. No, but I feel like detective mysteries are always kind of like that. They start off slow, and then as they pick up more clues, the pacing like speeds up a bit, right? But at first they don't have a lot to work with, so.
And then the other DC animated title that's been announced, I think for 2021, is going to be Justice Society World War II. So it's obviously going to be about the Justice Society of America. We're talking about Dr. Fate, possibly the Alan Scott Green Lantern, possibly the Hawkgirl and Hawkman, Atom Smasher, maybe the original Flash. Sorry? Maybe Starman, right? Maybe Starman. I wouldn't be surprised because...
You mean Star Spangled Man?
Well, it's a mix of that. It's not really clear
So
anymore
weird.
as
That's so GSA is so weird.
JSA is weird, totally weird. But like it could be virtually anybody at this point that's been attached to the been attached to the JSA. And obviously, I think this is in response to the popularity for Stargirl, because I think that a lot of young people have been introduced to the Justice Society of America. I've enjoyed it. I gotta be honest with you.
The character,
I really
not
enjoyed
the show.
it. Oh, okay. Okay, so, yeah. Well, the show's exciting. I definitely want to do an upcoming episode on that at some point.
I just started it.
You just started it?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
kind
gotta
of
say
got
it's
the
pretty
ball
good.
rolling right off the bat. Like, that was a crazy opening scene.
Yep, and it's got me thinking some very new things about Jeff Johns too. So we'll talk about that when we do that episode. But yeah, no, and then obviously with the Black Adam movie, there's going to be a lot of Justice Society in that.
Yeah.
So I think that there's this reintroduction of the Justice Society again with this multiverse, with this emergence of the multiverse idea, this multiverse concept, this multiverse structure to the DC universe. It makes sense to kind of reintroduce almost everything at this point, just to kind of see what catches favor with the audience.
for sure.
It makes sense to bring forward more diverse characters and like people we haven't seen before. Like, I think it's just boring to see like 20 different versions of Batman or Superman. I want to see other characters brought.
Hold your tongue,
Yeah,
woman.
sorry, but that's how I feel.
That's so funny.
I'm kidding. No, you know what? I agree, man. Like, I've had kind of an epiphany regarding the way that characters are kind of being gender and race swapped, and I'm not as against it as I'm not as myopic about it as I used to be.
Good.
I kind of have a more nuanced point of view about it. I see the advantages as somebody who wants to be a filmmaker one day and wants to be a screenwriter. Like, I see the advantages to that. Like, I can only take one character so far, right? There's only so many angles. There's only so many times they can get hit by the same bullet.
Yeah.
But when you refresh another, like, when you refresh a character, you can kind of, depending on the background or the backstory you give them, like, there's all kinds of different angles you can kind of play, right?
Yeah.
But I still think race swapping and gender swapping is kind of pandering. I still do. I still feel that
if
way.
it's the only reason they're doing it, yeah, sure.
Yes.
But
I
you
still
just
feel like
you
it's
just
pandering.
gave us a reason for it being a good thing, which is to, like,
Yeah.
if there is a story based reason behind it.
Yes. And as long as it's not like, it's ham-fisted and, especially when they change a male character into a female and then the woman is like, girl power before she like attacks somebody. Like, I hate that shit. Like, just show me that you're a strong female character. You know what I mean? And you know what? A great example of the way to the best way to write a female character and to gender swap the character is Stargirl, the TV series. Like, it's actually very well done. There's not a lot of heavy-handed, overt feminism.
But she wasn't
just
gender
shows
swap.
improves, dude. She shows improves. That's what I want. I want show improve. That's what I want.
So,
But anyways,
yeah.
Honestly, gender swapping is kind of weird to me, because why not just use the female equivalent? Like, I feel like every hero has
exactly.
the female version of it.
to a degree,
Just show that off.
Yeah,
Like, they have a backstory, they have stuff like that. There's this content. Why must we gender swap something that's already been like in stone?
And then those characters also have fans, like if you're
Yeah.
like
That's what makes me sad, actually, because sometimes I'm a fan of like the female version of the character and like her origin story, and I want to see that brought onto screen. Like I feel like Spider-Woman has a cool backstory, and they never did anything with that. Like, I would love to see something like that brought onto the big screen.
well, you're gonna see it one day, because apparently, super sidebar, because we're talking about Marvel right now.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
But Olivia Wilde is apparently she's going to be directing a Spider-Woman
Nice.
movie. That's the
awesome.
rumor.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
but or
That's
even
really
like
cool.
Hawk
Yeah.
Girl if we're gonna do DC, which I'm sure they are gonna bring Hawk Girl into some of the stuff we're
I hope
seeing
so.
coming up.
She's
but,
awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do a standalone Hawk Girl movie.
No, but I
really
at least
don't.
want to see her in
Yeah.
a team up movie. Like I want to see them.
It'd have to be both of them, man. Hawk Girl and
Yeah,
Hawkman.
yeah.
Like that'd be a great story. That'd be an
Yeah.
awesome movie in itself.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would
I'm
be.
about that.
Honestly, one of my
I'm all
favorite
about that.
episodes of Justice League Unlimited was the story, the ancient Egypt story of like Green Lantern, like the original, like before he was reborn into John Stewart, Shahira and Hawkman, like that whole thing. If
Yeah,
they
that's
made
pretty
that
cool.
into a movie, holy shit, that would be
Yeah,
dope.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just like flashback to ancient Egypt and then flash forward with Green Lantern, Hawkman, and Hawkgirl. Oh man, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. No, I really like that story too, but they definitely took some artistic license
Oh, yeah.
with that story.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
because there's no source material to support the idea that John Stewart was
A reborn, yeah.
a reborn, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but still a very cool concept. But anyways, so yeah, moving on, we're gonna talk about this Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice
Holy
League.
shit.
Oh my god, dude.
There it is. Like this is what I've been saying. Like when you have a Suicide Squad, it needs to be against the Justice League. Like what else is there? That's the best story you can tell from Suicide Squad, and we have it in and we get to play it this time instead of just watching it, and I'm so pumped.
Yep. No, I think that it looks awesome. I gotta say right off the bat, I'm disappointed in the selection for the Suicide Squad. I like Harley. I like Deadshot. I don't mind King Shark, but Boomerang, I'm not really feeling Captain Boomerang. One, he's got the dumbest name. He's got the dumbest name for a villain in the history of villainy.
Disagree. Polka Dot
I
Man.
don't know, man.
Comedic relief.
Oh, that's
I
gonna
don't
be
know,
so
man.
fun though. Like I'm
I
sure
don't
that
know. I
James
think-
Gunn picked that character on purpose.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man's terrible.
I don't know, man. Like I kind of like the whole Captain Boomerang thing, only because like what it can be. I don't know. He is a really goofy character, and he's trying really hard to be cool. Like Jack Courtney, I think did a really good job to make him at least a little bit cool.
He did do a good job.
And
yeah.
and
Yeah.
the game seems to be going back into like his old school look, which is like with the weird like captain's hat and the boomerang collar pins. But I think that's kind of the point of it. Like he's just like a weird dude. And I haven't seen him do that power where he like tosses a boomerang and then he like
Yeah, I was
chases
gonna
after
say.
it.
It's not like he teleports out. Like he
Yeah.
teleports to where it goes. It's like
Yeah,
weird.
but it's cool.
He can
like
teleport?
He,
What?
I mean, not anywhere that I saw. Granted, I only
Okay.
really see him in animated shows and movies. But like, yeah, he like throws his boomerang, and then there's like electricity that tethers him to the boomerang, and then he goes really fast into it and then catches it. It's so weird. But like,
That's
think about
different.
that in gameplay mechanics. That would be so cool.
Yeah, and King Shark would be so cool in gameplay too.
play, yeah.
Because you could just like he could just like eat people. He could go into
Yeah,
shark
he's like the
mode.
strong guy. Yeah, for sure.
That's
the tank.
definitely what he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
He's going to
That'd
be
be
eating
fun.
people.
I do
for
hope
sure.
I do hope there's more people though. Like I definitely want to see like more people than just those four. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of good
Well,
characters.
let's break down this trailer a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Because there's actually quite a lot of information that I think, well, honestly, I don't think hardcore fans have missed this, but Brainiac's in this thing.
Yeah.
That's what that thing is above Metropolis, right? The triangle, what do you call that thing? I don't know. A Trinity, like the Trinity dots, you know, on the head. That's definitely a Brainiac thing. And obviously with all the Justice League, like the posters that got released for this game beforehand had this like this purple mist coming from their eyes, right? Wonder Woman, the Flash, Batman, and Superman. So clearly the Justice League is under the control of Brainiac.
right?
Is that what everybody else's takeaway is too?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If I'm being honest, I would have rathered like the whole Task Force X thing where it's like the Suicide Squad are just straight up bad guys and they're like straight up being blackmailed into is that even called blackmail when you're threatening somebody's life? I guess that's just like threatening somebody's life, right? Like I would have just rather them being straight up threatened by Amanda Waller to take out the Justice League and just have us play the bad guy. Like we've done it in games before. It's fine. You know? Like don't like I don't know, like if this is what it takes to like sell like playing the Suicide Squad, it's fine. But in my opinion, if you gave me the writing thing, like I think gamers have no problem playing the bad guy, and especially anti-heroes like Suicide Squad, who have gained a lot of popularity. But you know, if you think you have to brainwash the Justice League to make the gamers feel good, that's fine. I'll just, as long as I get to kill Superman.
I really love this trailer. I thought it was really funny how they're like taking a pizza break and pretending to work.
Yeah.
So I just it was like engaging too. So I feel like there's gonna be a lot of story in this game too.
And a lot of banter between them.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I also think that
lots of
the
banter.
fighting style is going to be fun as well though. So I'm kind of interested
So-
to play this.
Yeah, you get to use, like, there's melee weapons, there's long range weapons. Obviously, I think that's why they had to mix up the characters, because Harley's more of a melee attacker, King Shark is obviously more of a melee attacker, and Deadshot and Boomerang are range attackers. So that's probably why they had to kind of balance the team that way. That would be my guess. You know, Chris, I want to go back to what you were saying about what story you would have preferred to see, because I'm kind of on board with you. Like, you know, me and you really love this episode of, I think it's Justice League Unlimited, when Task Force X has to break into the Watchtower and like steal something, right? That's what I wanted for this game. I wanted to infiltrate the Watchtower. That's what I wanted. And then this whole thing about, you know, Brainiac taking over Metropolis, and you have to fight off like zombies and then obviously the Justice League members will be the boss battles. But, you know, I'd rather have a game that's kind of, I don't know, a little bit more story driven. You know what I mean? Like I could see the Justice League possessing something that Amanda Waller needs to get her hands on, or they're breaking out somebody from, you know, from captivity within the Watchtower. That could have been really fucking cool, you know?
Yeah, let's hope it's there somewhere beneath the surface, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like right now, it just seems like
could
Brainiac's
be,
mind
but it
controlling.
doesn't really look like it though, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
wouldn't you
okay,
say?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems like they're like more playing up just like what the gameplay could look like, and maybe like getting us hooked on like the interactions between these very charismatic characters. But yeah, I mean, I'm still hopeful.
Yeah, no. If you guys were gonna pick your 4 Suicide Squad members to be in this game for you, like you're like who would you ideally pick for your Suicide Squad game?
Maybe Killer Frost. Mirror
That would've been
Master.
cool.
Mirror Master I never liked, but it could be fun game wise to play him. I mean, Joker. Like if you're giving me a choice, I'd definitely want Joker up there.
Yeah.
And then Captain Boomerang, and maybe Bronze Tiger. And obviously
Wow,
Harley
you
Quinn.
actually picked Captain Boomerang.
Yeah,
Wow,
man.
that's
Like
crazy.
from what I saw from that trailer, that's the character I want to play. Like none of the other characters I want to play more than Boomerang, because I just want to throw my boomerangs and teleport to it every like 30 feet.
Gotcha. For me, it would have been Deathstroke.
Oh, that's not fair. God damn it.
So it's totally fair. What are you talking about?
Because
Would have been
it's not fair
Deathstroke,
because you thought of it first. Fuck you. Go ahead.
Deathstroke, Bane, Harley, and Lex Luthor.
Wait, but was Deathstroke ever in the Suicide Squad though?
Yes, he was.
Was
in
he?
the comic books?
Oh
Yes.
shit! I didn't know that. God damn it.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so pissed.
He's been a part of he's been a part of one iteration of Task Force X for sure. So, anyways, Jeff, what about you? What's your ideal Suicide Squad?
Probably Killer Frost, Mirror Master, Deadshot, and Harley.
Okay, that's not bad. What about you, Christina?
Yeah, I think I would take Deadshot, Harley. I like King Shark. I like the idea of playing with King Shark in the game.
Yeah.
And I think if I got to pick someone from the new movie, I want to pick Nathan Fillion's character. I want to beat people with my arms, if that's what it's
Nice.
TDK.
I had a feeling you would go back to that. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
Wait, did you know Blue
Yeah.
Beetle was part of them at one point? Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
That's wacky.
I choose Blue Beetle. I've always wanted to play as Blue Beetle.
What did Jaime Reyes or Ted Kord do to go to jail?
Right? Yeah, who knows?
It was Ted
That's
Kord.
weird.
Well, I mean,
It was Ted Kord in the Suicide Squad.
yeah, it was Ted
It was
Kord.
Ted Kord
Yeah.
in the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I mean,
What did he do to go to jail,
I mean,
though?
maybe it's just like they found out the origin of the Beetle and Waller's using it against him, right? It could be
Yeah.
something like that. I haven't read that
He
comic.
was.
But...
He actually led. He was the leader at that point when he was in
Whoa, really?
it. Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting.
gotta
I'm gonna
read
have to go
that.
back and read that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Actually,
too.
that's a current Suicide Squad.
What is?
Blue Beetle's in part of the current one apparently. I haven't
Really?
read it. I have to go get this.
The fuck? Okay.
Yeah. It was last year. It happened.
Anyways,
Dude, comic books are so fucking confusing,
Is
man.
there a
honestly,
telepath?
like-
I always like playing with telepaths too, because then you can play with people's minds. Like, you are not guarding the door.
Thinker.
Go away.
The Thinker.
yeah, the Thinker,
Oh, yeah,
right,
the
right.
Thinker. Yeah.
Enchantress.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Enchantress.
Enchantress, too.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. So the last panel we got to cover here is something I used to love and enjoy immensely, but it's not really something that I'm kind of losing steam with it, which is the Flash TV show on CW.
Where's Saba
The
to
last
defend
couple
this?
seasons, yeah, I know we need Saba because you know what? Saba can't speak to this because she hadn't seen the seasons that I'm talking about. Like, she's only saw up to think to season 4 or season 5 when what's his face, elongated man showed up, and apparently that was just too much for her. She hates stretchy powers, but she loves
Miss
herself
Marvel.
some Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Right? Loves herself some Miss Marvel. So I really feel like the Arrowverse has run its course. I've kind of jumped on this bandwagon. You see a lot of people talking about it on Reddit, but I really feel like it's run its course. Like, I think once you do the Infinite Crisis storyline, I just kind of feel like you should fuck off and go away. Like, because I see what's happening right now with Barry. Like, he's basically been neutered. Like, they've taken his powers away and they've made Iris West kind of the focus of the Ace story. Like, she's got more on the show called The Flash. She's getting more screen time and more story time than anybody right now. Right. And that's not why I tune into this show. And I applaud Eric Wallace for wanting to diversify the story content. But I think in the 7th season, I think it's just time to say, okay, you know what? We need to either pivot super hard into something crazy, or we need to kind of look at how we're going to wrap up this story in the neatest little bow we possibly can. One of the things that I love the most about Damon Lindelof, who is the showrunner for The Watchmen and for Lost and The Leftovers, is that he knew how to end the shows. Like, he knew that, like, once the story's over, you tie it all up in a bow, and that's it, right? You give the fans an ending that gives them provides some sense of satisfaction. And right now, I just kind of feel like we're treading water. That's really.
I don't know. I didn't feel that with Lost.
Well, I did. I love that. I love the ending to that show. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I loved it. But anyways, am I the only one kind of sitting here on this panel right now that is caught up to The Flash?
Yeah.
Nope, I'm caught up.
Not watching that.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
Jeff,
not
so
into
what's-
CW.
Right. Okay. See, and Chris, I don't blame
I
you.
tried.
To be
I
honest
gave it a
with you.
shot.
I like
I
I like early Arrow, but then later Arrow and none of the other ones.
like the CW, it's always going to cater to that like woman audience, right? So
I know.
At the end of the day, you are always your male characters
But
are going to be equal to your female characters on a really, even if it doesn't really make sense for that particular story.
But me and Jeff aren't women, and we're watching
Because
it.
it's the Flash.
Right. We're watching.
But I
it
watched
for the
like
Flash.
all this
I think
Arrowverse
it's
stuff.
weird that they
Yeah.
put these superhero shows like on the CW network anyway. I don't even know how.
Well, they started with the Arrow,
It's
because
because Smallville had success with
Oh,
it.
True.
right. Okay. Because
True.
Yeah, that makes
God
sense.
damn it, Tom Welling.
Girls were like super into Smallville.
Thank you, Tom Welling, and like Rosenbaum.
yeah, no, but you're right. Like, CW has historically been a young female audience. Basically, the people who sold out Twilight.
Yeah, and they must
that's
have
basically been
responded
their
well
audience.
to Iris West, so that's why they developed her character
Oh,
more
they're
on
definitely
that show.
responding well to Iris West. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I'm just saying it's boring and
For you.
it sucks.
For you.
Well, okay, Jeff, what's your point of view? Last season.
Last season did kind of suck, to be honest.
Right.
It was all over the place. It didn't feel grounded at all. Like I felt no connection with anyone anymore.
There was no cohesion at all.
Yeah.
Like the only characters I got excited about hearing, like actually seeing on screen, was Frost, Barry, and whatever little bit I got of Cisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even all the Harrisons. Like, how many times are they going to give us a fucking Harrison? Like, Jesus Christ!
Every single time.
Like, there's been so many reinventions. Okay, you know what? Harrison Wells is the personification of the multiverse concept that DC is trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is literally the personification of that. Because in one season of The Flash, I think there was like 6 Harrisons. Like, they were interviewing to be the next Harrison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Council of Harrisons.
the Council
As
of
a
Harrisons,
first name or
which
a
is
last
also
name? What's going on here?
Harrison Wells.
okay.
That's his first
Okay.
name. It's his
Yeah.
first name. But in the first season, turns out to be somebody else, which is really
That's
awesome.
funny.
The first season is fantastic. It was amazing.
I only made it through a
The
few
second season-
episodes of the first season. I just didn't feel like the actors had good chemistry. It felt weak. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it just felt awkward.
I don't
and
know.
weak. I couldn't watch it.
I don't know. I really liked the first season a lot, and I still want to be I still want to be a fan of this show. I still want to be a fan of all the stuff that's on the CW. It's almost like diversity and inclusivity has taken priority over good storytelling. Like, I almost feel like all the character development is headed in the direction of, creating a narrative where marginalized people can identify with the situation that the characters are in.
I just don't know.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
I just don't know
I'm not
if
saying
a
that's
show
a bad thing.
on the CW network is like a good way to make that point, though, because it's kind of biased towards a certain audience already to begin with. So,
well, they're already made, but that's where those points are being made.
I know, I get it. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like,
Yeah.
those shows are already designed that way. It's by design. So I don't
Yeah.
think that's like a blanket statement you can make for everything in the superhero genre. I think.
No, I'm talking about the No, I specifically said the CW.
Okay, yeah, but that makes
right?
sense though
And-
for that network. So
And honestly, I feel like DC is almost kind of going down that road too, because honestly, I didn't see a lot of it in Stargirl. Actually, all the decisions made complete sense in Stargirl. Like, maybe they just need to get Jeff Johns to write everything. And I hate saying that because I'm really upset at Jeff Johns right now because of the way that he treated Zack Snyder and the way that he treated Ray Fisher. But I really think that Jeff Johns needs to start writing more stuff. Look at what happens when you give Jeff Johns something that he really is passionate about. Because he's passionate about Stargirl because he named his daughter after Courtney Whitmore.
Oh, yeah.
Well, her name's Courtney, but he named his daughter after that character. He created that character essentially, right? So it's an homage to the character, but what I'm trying to say is, if you give Jeff Johns something he really cares about, look how far he can go with it, because Stargirl is really good. It's clear when you find a creator that is emotionally invested in what they're doing, you really get the best result, right? And I think that the TV series kind of need to start taking this approach a little bit more, where it's the stuff is being led by somebody who really cares about it. Because really, I almost feel like Eric Wallace is just, he's trying to keep his job. Yeah, so I just want to see DC TV start to make the same effort that it is in other places. That's what I want. Like, the one thing that perplexes me is, why are all the CW shows shot in Vancouver and then Stargirl is shot in Atlanta, where like all the Marvel films are shot? And why does Stargirl basically look like a high budget movie and the CW shows look like the CW shows?
That's probably Jeff Johns' request, or he wouldn't join Stargirl.
Sorry?
It was probably a request by Jeff Johns, be like, it's got to be higher budget, it's got to be here, or he won't even do it.
You're probably right, dude. You're probably right. But the thing is, and Jeff, you know this as well as I do. Jeff Johns is an executive producer on all of these shows.
Yeah.
You know? So why is it that, and Berlanti is a part of Stargirl too. Berlanti's a part of everything. So I don't know whether it's just, they started, this is the way they started, this is the way they're going to finish. Like maybe it just doesn't make sense for them to ramp up their production budget to improve the show at this point. Maybe it just doesn't make sense, but I really wish that they would do something. Like, I don't know. And
honestly, I could foresee them going to Vancouver at some point.
What, Stargirl?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I really think that the town that they found for this particular story is really kind of its own character. It definitely feels like a white bread Gotham City in the middle of America. Like it feels like middle America, Gotham City to me. I don't know about you, but that's kind of the vibe I got from it. But anyways,
it's interesting.
So Jeff, any more thoughts on the Flash? Because I know that you're a fan and I know you watch. Just let's.
Yeah, it's just I feel that the show is done very poorly with the character Godspeed. They kind of introduce him, and then they defeat him, but it wasn't actually him. It's kind of all over the place. I was hoping like last season was leading towards that, but then it didn't at all. It kind of like lost speed on that.
Yeah, they've definitely misused a lot of villains. A lot of villains have been misused for sure. I wasn't a big fan of the gender swap on Mirror Master. I thought that was kind of stupid. The way that they introduce Eve McCullough is even dumber. I just really didn't feel it at all. My favorite villain thus far has been Zoom, and I even liked Grace. Young Grace was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So let's.
I enjoyed Thinker until the very last episode, to be honest.
Yeah, the dynamic between him and his wife was actually really interesting and kind of cool. But they definitely ended on a sour note for me. Like it was definitely a low note. It was underwhelming for sure.
It seems super rushed.
Yeah, it definitely did feel super rushed, I think too. But it was definitely probably had something to do with the crossover that they were kind of making and that was coming up, So anyways. So I think we're going to sign off here. Thanks everybody for joining us again for another episode of Meanwhile Back on the podcast. We had a great time. This is going to be pretty much the wrap on our DC Fandome coverage, I think. I think we're probably going to do an upcoming episode where we talk a little bit about Sandman, though, because that panel was so rich. We really want to dive into the Audible narrative series that they've put together. It seems really exciting, and the talent is just amazing. Everybody from James McAvoy to Taron Egerton and BB Newirth from Frasier, there's all these amazing actors doing voice work now, and I'm glad they've kind of spilled over into the comic book universe. We talked about Alexandra Daddario doing Superman and Zachary Quinto and Ryan Hurst and all these big stars kind of lending their voices to these characters that we love. So I'm really excited to see that happening. Before we sign off, we don't ask much of our fans, but if we could ask you guys to do one thing for us, if you could head over to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Podchaser and drop us a review, we would really, really appreciate it. Your feedback is very helpful whenever we're sitting around talking about how we want to improve the show. So if you guys can provide us any insights, any thoughts, any ideas, any ideas for shows you want to see in upcoming episodes, we would love to hear about them. And obviously tell your friends about this show. We'd love to be friends with you and your friends. So let's sign off. I'm Frank McGuire.
I'm Christina Dudumas.
I'm Chris Abana.
Jeff Mack.
Peace.
Later, dudes.